If you're keeping your Ridgecrest house and going to rent it out, here's the part nobody warned you about. Your tenant may be able to break the lease legally with 30-day notice. And one wrong move on a deposit or a rent increase, that can wipe out a full year's profit. I'm Chrissy Wade, broker and owner of Wellspring Property Management. For over 10 years, we've managed hundreds of units across the state of California. We know property management inside and out. By the end of this video, you'll know the 7 things every Ridgecrest homeowner has to get right before renting out a house, from military tenant rules to desert-specific traps that catch first-timers. So what makes Ridgecrest different? Here's the thing about renting out a home in this town. Ridgecrest runs on China Lake Naval Station. A big share of renters here are tied to the base. Active duty sailors, DoD civilians and their families, and plenty of you watching got PCS orders yourself and decided to keep the house instead of selling it. That military reality plus the high desert changes the rules you have to follow. Let's go through the 7. Number 1, your military tenant can end the lease early and it's completely legal. This is one of Ridgecrest landlords get blindsided by. If your tenant is active duty military, a federal law called the Service Members Civil Relief Act lets them end the lease early. If they get PCS orders or deployment orders for 90 days or more, they hand you written notice and a copy of those orders, and the lease ends 30 days after the next rent due date. No penalty, no lease break fee, and you owe the deposit back. You can't fight it, and you shouldn't try, because the SCRA violation carries federal penalties. On top of that, the deposit cap for an active duty service member is always 1 month's rent, no exception. So write a military clause into your lease and plan for turnover. With a China Lake tenant, someone living on orders isn't an if, it's a when. Also, you can't deny a service member because they are active duty. That could be a source of income violation. Tip 2, the state may cap your rent, even on your own house. You might assume the rent on your own home is yours to set, but not always. California's Tenant Protection Act, AB 1482, caps annual increases at 5% plus inflation with a hard ceiling of 10%. And once a tenant passes 12 months, you just need just cause to end the tenancy. Single-family homes are usually exempt, but only on 2 conditions. You own it as a person, not a corporation or LLC, and you put the exact exemption notice in lease in writing. Miss that one paragraph, and your exempt house is now fully covered with past increases rolled back. And because Kern County has no local inflation index, your cap is figured off the statewide CPI. Get that notice into the lease before anyone signs. All right, tip 3, the deposit rules have changed. Throw out the old first, last, and deposit habit. Under AB 12, the security deposit is capped at 1 month's rent for most owners. On a typical Ridgecrest 3-bedroom renting around $1,800, that's $1,800. Full stop. If you own no more than 2 rental properties totaling 4 units or fewer held as a person, you can go up to 2 units, 2 months. But for an active duty service members, it's always 1 month. And under AB 2801, you now have to photograph the home's condition before move-in and again after move-out. And you can't bill for damages. You can't prove. In a town with this much turnover, those photos are what protect your deposit deductions. Tip 4, you cannot refuse a housing voucher, including veterans VASH. Under SB 329, source of income is a protected class. You cannot turn away someone just because they pay with Section 8 voucher. And in a military community, that includes VASH vouchers for veterans, which you're going to definitely see out here. You also can't put no vouchers in your listing. You can still screen for credit, income, and rental history, but apply the same standard to everyone. If you use an income to rent ratio, base it on the tenant's share of the rent, not the full amount, since the voucher covers the rest. A second law, SB 267, also limits how you use credit history against the voucher holders. Same standard, every applicant, and you stay safe. Tip 5, hand over your disclosures, including one that's unusual here. Before anyone move in, California requires a stack of written disclosures, and missing one hands your tenant a legal claim. The standard list is lead-based paint and the EPA pamphlet for any home built before 1978. The Megan's Law notice about sex offender database, a bed bug information disclosure, known mold, and here's one that's unusually relevant in Ridgecrest. If you have actual knowledge the home sits within a former military ordnance location, California law says you must disclose it. Given the history out here, don't assume one doesn't apply to you. Every disclosure goes in or with the lease. Tip 6. In the high desert, habitability is a higher bar. The day the tenant moves in, the condition of that house becomes your legal responsibility. California's implied warranty of habitability means working plumbing, heat, hot water, safe electrical, and a weatherproof structure. Out here, a working cooling system is not a luxury. It's a habitability issue when summer hits 110. You also need smoke alarms in every unit and a carbon monoxide near any gas appliances or an attached garage. And after the 2019 earthquakes, walk the structure before you list it. One more thing. If a real repair gets reported and you sit on it, the tenant can legally fix it themselves and subtract that cost from rent. Move fast and you keep control of that price and the contractor. Tip 7, protect yourself on paper. Everything above lives and dies on insurance and paperwork. Your homeowner's policy does not cover a rental. So switch to a landlord policy before you even hand over keys, or a tenant's kitchen fire can get your claim denied. And standard policies exclude earthquakes, which in this region is a real decision, not a formality. Check your mortgage for occupancy clauses, confirm your HOA even allows rentals, and require your tenant to carry renter's insurance, which the Navy Housing Office already tells them to do. Then screen every applicant by the same written criteria and use a California compliant lease with your AB 1482 language, your disclosures, and that military clause. Keep a payment ledger and dated photos from day one. That paperwork is what saves you when turnover hits, and in Ridgecrest, it will. Before you go, here's what most Ridgecrest landlords miss. The cost of renting out your home yourself isn't the repairs, it's the turnover, the legal exposure, and the hours you never budgeted for, especially with a tenant base that moves on orders. So I built a free self-managing cost calculator that adds it all up and shows you what doing this yourself really costs. The link's below. And if you're already one of our property management clients, every one of these things is already handled for you. I'm Chrissy Wade with Wellspring Property Management. You can reach me at wellspringpm.com or calling 760-371-4282 extension 101. That line comes straight to me. I'll see you next week.